Yo, what's up, Dark True? Trying to see if anybody's gonna step in for the chit chat today. Anything you want to chop it up about today, Dark True? I want to wait till a few more people get in. Uh, Broadcast got clipped yesterday, but I want to answer a question that was, or not answer, but give my take on a question that was brought up about possession and such. How do you go about studying? Well, the first part is to be looking for questions. Look for as many questions as you can think of. You might be driving in traffic. Um, you might be watching a broadcast. You say, "Do I pick one subject and rock out a few books?" I will. You know, my style of studying is very chaotic. I'll get on. Um, for a while, I was really doing a lot of research on cells. The cells of the body. Then what's some of the other things I've gotten on? I might get on one word, and then I go and dig through all of the different little how many rabbit holes I can go down to unfold that word. But yeah, that's kind of how it is. It's just I get a question that comes up, or I have a theory. I have a theory, and then I have questions I want to ask to figure out is my theory correct, and then I just go on you know, go on the hunt. But it's really no rhyme or reason. It's the most important part is to come up with the questions, and when you come up with the questions, that's where that Anubis aspect comes in. It's truly something spiritual, because Anubis leads you to answers. It might lead you to a person who sparked something in you to further you along your path or your studies. It might pop up in a book. It might show up on uh, a video. You know, your you have no limits as far as your regimen for studying, because you'll get answers, and you'll get channels from all types of places. You might be in the grocery store and look at some canned food, and bam, something gives you a bridge for something else you were thinking about, and it's amazing how it works. But I think as far as books, because it's funny because my cousin was on here talking, and both of us are avid book readers, but it made a lot of sense what he said too about at a point it just gets you can get out of control. And I think I've been that person, out of control, and he has too. But the thing about it is that's part of the quest. You know, it's better to have been the person who had too much than the person who never explored and never tried to stretch uh, his or her mind. So after a while, what'll happen is you just gonna you just kind of just fall into a groove. You don't have to buy as many books. You find the right books. You find the books that at the right time, you're in the right place, and you get what you need. You become very discriminatory. I might have added an extra syllable there, but uh, as far as what you select, because your question asking abilities become more acute. That's the secret. The secret to all studying, to finding all knowledge, is how laser focused you can be in your questions. You know, um, and the questions literally deal with or come down to you going inside of yourself, and that hidden you is going to be driving you towards the food that it needs to eat. You know, the intellectual food, the spiritual food. It's driving you to feed it. It's like the it's like the inward aspect of putting something on your altar for a deity. You know, what you're doing is um, you're creating, you're triangulating power. So you got this inner you that's driving you secretly, telling you, I'm hungry, feed me that, feed me this, directing you to a particular place at a certain time to get something that it needs to be fed. Well, you triangulating that with, like, if you're working with an altar, you know, you're bouncing, you're creating a way of encapsulating a certain amount of energy that has purpose behind it, if that makes sense. So it's an intellectual endeavor, but it's still a very spiritual endeavor too. Hope that uh, hope that made sense. Now I'm out here trying to. I think Walmart is back the other way, west. So I'll go ahead and talk about this. I don't know if anybody's getting on. Don't look like it. But is that a Walmart sign down there? The other day, uh, had Sister Erica on, and she was asking about, when it looks like a friend has been taken over by an entity, and it's basically acting crazy. And it seemed like a simple enough question to me. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, that's that's uh that's a complicated question, really. And where I was getting to yesterday before um, had to drop the broadcast was that my cousin was talking about, when we were sitting out there that night, about we are energy thrust into boundless information. Now, if if Is anybody there? I'm out here at this strange ass Walmart. What's happening, brother Marcus? Okay, let's see if I can remember how to get back. I got a question. Look at this. Going the wrong way. After consciousness, what is there? What is there after consciousness? You know, so much has been invested into higher consciousness, higher consciousness. Okay, how high are we looking to go? And what is there after consciousness? I mean, really. Are we just in another trap and don't know it? Conscious, 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 conscious. It's just talking to somebody about no doubt, brother. No doubt. Hopefully my cousin will be able to come back before I leave and we can sit down and have a good chat. I see if my mama wanna get something off her chest this evening. Oh damn. But after consciousness, where do we go? This is a very hard thing to ponder because at best we can only speculate about the ultimate purpose. As far as not the ultimate purpose, we know the ultimate purpose. The ultimate purpose is to go beyond. But right now, as we sit, yeah, but that's okay. Only way to go is inside. We've heard that a million times. To go inside, to go inside. But right now we're living, damn it, stuck out here at this damn light. Right now, putting that into real world understanding. That's the dilemma we're in right now because, and what the standpoint I'm coming from is there's so much information. You know, it's funny when you go on YouTube. YouTube frames your reality based on what you've shown an interest in looking at. It then starts to frame your reality around just that. Every now and then it might throw a little something extra, and it's like, even in this endeavor, even if we say we're looking for things that are on a higher plane of intelligence and so forth, it's like the coldest thing going on is that we're being terraformed quietly and secretly and don't even really know it. You know, if your whole world is Black Power, RBG, then guess what? YouTube will frame that reality for you. It'll give you everything to support your Black Power stance. If you are completely engrossed in the Moorish Divine National Movement, YouTube will give you everything you want to fortify your stance on that. If you're into Bobby Hemmett, it'll give you all these different variations of it. And when you step back and look at it, we got to really question everything as far as if we have come to an understanding that we have to go beyond and we want to call it inside and so forth. Yeah, we can say that from a philosophical standpoint, just to be abstract. Yeah, you got to go inside, go within, but it really, at the end of the day, amounts to nothing more than words. Just words, just picture frames. But understanding what all is involved in that is a whole different barrel of peanuts. Because we are still something alien living in a human body, human existence. And we can't negate the complexity of that. Think about it. The complexity of being something foreign, living in a reality that is other than your origin. It's just like, I'm here in Greensboro. Bow to the eternal mother. Okay, I got you. It's like I'm in Greensboro and I'm not familiar with these streets. So I'm having to learn how to think like a resident of this city. You know, where everything is located and so forth. That's like what we're doing right now. We understand all of the abstract. We've got enough information out there to tell us what the abstract end game is, so to speak. But to actually see it play out in this reality is something different. Because I'm just starting to look at everything about, making sure that it's not becoming a religion. Once we got a hold of a lot of this information about who we are, what we're capable of, and so forth, I think it got out of hand. As far as out of hand, as in misunderstanding it. This is a very tedious process of just trying to understand. We've thrown away certain texts and we say, oh, that's garbage, one being the Bible. We've thrown away humility. I'm a God now. Humility goes out the window because I'm divine. I do what the fuck I want. Nah, da 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 da. And until some tragedy hits. And then when some tragedy hits, sad to say, we got a GoFundMe set up. So at a certain point, if we're looking to just push our own minds, to push our own existence as a piece of the whole, then we have to look at questioning everything. And when I was talking to my cousins, I was telling sister this a little earlier. Oh, it's my turn right there. Um, he always says something when we're having a conversation that convicts me. You know, he always says something. Now he and I are both avid readers, and he talked about, where gathering books becomes like a competition. You want to acquire the most. That I felt convicted right there. Like, man, I don't want to mislead people in my zeal for reading, um, to suggest that you should always have your head stuck in the book, and you're trying to outread the next person. There's always a line. There's always that middle point you got to find, and that middle point will show itself out of your intent. Going back to check your intent. Am I on a quest, or am I involved in showmanship? Because a lot of us get into this out of some kind of way. You got thrust into this great quest. Now, it manifests for you in the way it does. Because I'm learning to get out of my Perry Mason mode. Because I'm a person, I love to convince somebody of my point. I would have made a hell of a damn lawyer. Because I can argue my point. I can argue it. I would be an excellent debater. You know, um, but again, what ultimate purpose does that serve at the end of the day? How does that transform me uh, to fulfill my destiny? And what really does it impart upon uh, others that is of substance? You know, my ability to prove my rightness. You know, so um, I've learned, and it's another thing I've kind of learned from my cousin. You will be hard pressed to get him to debate with you. Now, see, I'm different. I'm more argumentative by nature. I cuss and shit, you know. Uh, and you ain't heard nothing. You didn't really hear my mama, you know. But and it ain't because it's not because we're not intelligent. It's just that's just the way we talk, you know. Uh, but the thing is, I'm learning to live and let live. You know, it's just like I'm gonna give you an example. I pull up on Google Plus, and I see so many people with memes up about uh, you need to find you a strong black woman and find you a strong black man, and if you chastising people about whatever their choice is. And now this you got to ask yourself, this is how you have to question yourself about everything. That concept of the energy that a person takes to even develop the meme or put that out, that person has to be acting from a space of lack. Now we can say no, This person is trying to make an impact and this and that. But at the end of the day, on the highest, or thinking on a higher plane, for me to take the time to express my dislike for what another person does with their energy, with their body, it says something about me. I mean, think about what I'm saying. Think about how many people have come before people, have made money, you know, done lectures, sold books or whatever, based on feeding people's victimhood. I mean, really think about some of the things we say. We call ourselves gods. I'm a god. We built the pyramids. I'm divine. You know what? What has happened with so much information, we have become so engrossed in looking and sounding conscious, looking and sounding divine, looking and sounding deep. I used to walk around with one of them Ankh bead chains. Motherfucker be hot on my neck. My hair was just starting to grow. Hair get caught up in one of them damn beads. Be pulling on my shit. One day the thing broke, and I said, I guess the spirit was like, good thing that the motherfucker broke. You know, because I was like, I ain't putting no effort into getting this shit fixed. You know, but it's so much effort is being put into how do I present myself? How do I look? And this is just my perspective. Everything I've found in every culture seems to be leading up to some crescendo, some finality of of a period. And if that's the case, and if we're just here going through a play that's acting itself out, you got these different characters, you got these different players, and so forth, then should I put but so much energy into trying to figure out how am I going to maintain the production? If I have found in my little meager path and studies that this is a production, then why do I put so much energy in trying to maintain it? But then on the flip side, here's the flip to that. I would be a fool to also engross myself into the concept of, oh, I don't want nothing to do with this. I'm done with this. You know, uh, uh, fuck life. That's one of the new things. Fuck life and, you know, dark side and all this, and, expressing your distaste with life. That's the polar opposite. See, what I'm seeing is that we're being thrust to polarities, you know, and as long as you can thrust humanity into enough polarities, you think about this. There's an intelligence or intelligentsia that is weighing out every concept that you can think of. They want to support whatever your thing is, and they want to support your group. Because if you think of us being a giant